Hello. Welcome
Hello,
to
hello.
day 3 of RU204, storing, querying, and indexing JSON at speed. With us today is Justin and Savannah and Summit, correct?
Indeed. Like I said, as soon as he hears me start talking, he's like, "Oh, I can get in the way. I can be annoying."
Oh, that's
So here
adorable. Hi,
here he
Summit.
is. I mean, literally jumped into my lap as soon as you hit go live. Like just
Well, I wish my cats would join me, but I can almost guarantee you they're curled up on the couch in front of the fireplace. So,
nice. Good for
yeah,
them.
I know. Can't blame them. Living the best life. Today is day 3 of RU204 Live, which means that we are covering RU204, the third section, where we're going to be indexing and searching JSON documents. So yesterday we played with specific clients for Python and JavaScript, and
Hmm.
we demonstrated how to store and retrieve JSON with just Redis clients, and then store and retrieve JSON with the Redis OM clients.
Yeah.
And before that, we kind of went over JSON. The first day, we went over how to insert JSON in the Redis, kind of like the motivation behind that, and the JSON path syntax, where basically you use notation to drill down and access
Yeah.
objects. So if you want to see those in at any time, you're more than welcome to. They're on YouTube, so go ahead and check out our page on YouTube. You'll see tons of videos, explainers, head in the corners, live streams of Savannah and I just bashing at code, making stuff work. And this course is available, of course, on university.redis.com. So we have, I think, 8 or 9 different courses to choose from. And that also includes the Redis Certified Developer Exam. So you can have a very prestigious badge on your LinkedIn profile if you take 3
Yeah.
prerequisite courses. And that's really cool. Let's actually get started here.
Let's do it.
All right, so let's start with just some basic nomenclature. We're going to be indexing JSON documents with search. Now, indexing basically means we're going to be taking the values that we want to look at. We're going to be putting kind of like our attention to those. So if we want to search through a certain value through all of our JSON documents, we have to sort of set it up beforehand and say, hey, I want you to look at, in this case with books with JSON, I want you to index the titles so that I can search through all the titles very quickly, rather than having Redis iterate over every single JSON document to find it.
Okay.
Uh, they'll have an actual data structure that has all the titles in it. I believe it might be an inverted
Oh,
index.
okay.
So that's very, very useful. And you get to pick and choose what you want to index. So
Yeah.
um, not everything, but not nothing. So you have to like kind of intelligently do it. Because if you index everything, it kind of gets bogged down, and
Sure.
you know you have to look at your use cases. Um, so there are 4 main types of data types that we are currently indexing with JSON search as of the end of 2022. The first one is text. So full text search queries against the value and the attribute. So the title of a book is text. The description is text. Sav.
Full text search. Are we talking like, can I do partial? Can I do like substring search? Do we have any like fuzzy matching type stuff? Like if I put playful, does playfully also count?
There is fuzzy search that we have. We
Okay.
can actually activate that. Yeah,
Okay.
definitely.
Cool.
And there's substring, which is a little bit different. We don't quite have that,
Yeah.
I believe.
Okay.
That's going to be coming out soon. But yeah, text like a paragraph, we can definitely search within a paragraph,
Sure. Okay.
or a URL, things like that. So there are tons of options of text. And then we have tag. Now, tag is really interesting in that instead of text of spaces or paragraphs or anything like that, tags are just keywords, you can imagine.
Yeah.
So tags are, as an example of a tag, well, when we were doing a live stream for taco trucks, implementing
Mhm.
search with taco trucks. All of the taco trucks had a city or a base of operations in a city. And since the city will be repeated among multiple taco truck objects, it makes no sense to actually have them treated as full text. If it's a keyword, you can search by keyword. So if I'm in Oakland, I want to find taco trucks in Oakland. If I'm in Seattle, I want to find taco trucks in Seattle.
Makes sense.
Yeah. Or like, I mean, if you're on like, say Yelp and you click on a button that says vegan or vegetarian, that's like
Mhm.
a tag. So it'll find all the values or all the JSON objects that have that tag, vegan or vegetarian.
So would we like potentially want to make our genres tag just because we know exactly what they're going to be? Like there's there's only so many things that are going to be in that genre list. And so we could make that a tag. Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, that's a great example. And yeah, so you have like science fiction, you have fiction, you have fantasy, you have high fantasy, things like that. And
Yeah.
those genres, those literal phrases and words are commonly used among multiple books. And you can have multiple tags too. So you can have, for a food truck, you can have vegetarian and Mexican. For a book, you can have science fiction and futuristic. My
Yeah.
favorite is dystopian future.
Ooh, okay.
And that's a lot of fun to look up with our indexing. And tags are really great because you can use them. You can say you have like we have an array of genres, right?
Hmm.
You could actually assign that entire array to be tags um, programmatically. So it will iterate
Okay.
through that array, and for every element within that array, it will treat each word as a tag. So
Okay.
yeah, you don't have to actually do the hard work of iterating through things. You can just tell it to automatically go through and say, hey, all these are tags.
Okay.
Now with numerics, that's basically numbers. So when we want to actually do range calls or range queries, like I want to find all books that are 500 pages or less, or in your case, I want to find the biggest book in this
Yeah.
entire database, um, we'll be using the numeric field. And so you don't do searches or queries for specific numbers. You can, but for the most part, you can look at ranges.
Okay.
And also with numerics, you'll want to use these for timestamps. So if you have a timestamp, you want to convert it to a Unix timestamp, and
Okay.
that way you can actually look up time-based events, which is really useful. So show me a book that was written, 20 years ago, or show me a user that was signed on to my website within the last 30 minutes, things like that.
Yeah,
Really useful.
absolutely.
And lastly, we have geo, which allows you to look at longitude and latitude pairs that are separated by a comma. So it's a string, currently, right now, it's a string of longitude and latitude separated by a comma. And then
Okay.
search just automatically, again, consumes that and turns it into a searchable data type.
Okay.
Cool. So the command we're going to be using to actually create an index is ftcreate. And there's a little bit of overhead, but this overhead is really important because, again, you're creating a search feature, a query feature for your application. So you really need to think about basically every in and out of how you're going to be using this. So don't worry about like actually calling this command like all the time. You're not going to be really doing that exactly. You'll be thinking about this very hard. You'll be whiteboarding this. You'll be sort of observing how your users are using your application, and then you're making this decision.
So just to make sure, these things in the schema here, that's not necessarily all the fields. That's just the fields we're indexing, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
So there are some fields that we just don't want to index, and that could be
Yeah.
because we don't need to search through it, or it's not gonna.
Yeah.
Nobody
Or for
wants.
instance, like that inventory number that we have associated with each book, where it's like
Yeah.
the book ID and then like _1, _2 for however many copies of the book we have. Like that's not really it's helpful for like whoever's using it.
Yeah.
But I'm probably not going to really search by that. I'm probably going to search for more like, is it available or not? So like,
Absolutely.
stuff like that inventory number, it doesn't really seem relevant to search for that type of thing.
Yeah, spot on, spot on. So let's look at this command. It starts with ft.create, and then we have this. This looks like a key. It kind of is a key. It's called index::demo, and that's going to be the index name. So this is a variable. This is going to be index :book demo. So we're going to have to call upon this whenever we want to query our books. The next line on JSON says basically, we're going to be indexing on JSON objects. Currently, the other alternative is on hash, because we can also hash, we can also index through hashes. Right here, we have prefix 1 RU204:book:. So this is saying, I want you to index all of the keys that have the prefix RU204:book:.
Oh, that's handy.
It is really nice. And that's why I was like, really like harping on having a consistent key naming convention. Because if you do that, then you don't have to manually add things to your index. Your index, whenever you add new JSON objects, it just automatically like looks for it and says, oh, okay, I'll add that to my index.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Yeah.
Does that on JSON, is that what gives us the JSON like path notation? Or like, would it be the same notation if I was doing a hash?
It would be different notation with hash.
Okay.
Yeah, that is a major difference. On JSON just tells the search capability that what to expect. Yeah, good question.
Cool.
That's actually really important. That says expect one prefix string ahead of me. This is still a Redis command, and Redis is RESP, which is a protocol. So it has to be all just text. And you need to tell it how many arguments you're going to be giving it for certain things. So with prefix, you need to tell it how many arguments you're going to be giving it. Otherwise, it's going to try to treat schema as a prefix. Yeah.
So if I also had, for instance, another book structure that from a different class or a different course, could I do prefix 2 and have 2 different, like those beginnings of the keys? Okay. And they would all get the same. Okay. And I could search for them. I could combine those when I'm searching, right? Right.
No, that's absolutely correct.
Okay.
So yeah, like RU203 is the like the big sibling course to this one, and that's also covering books. So we could do prefix 2 RU203:books space RU204:book. And that would look at both of those key prefixes and add all of those. So it's really powerful.
Okay. Yeah.
And so after we're done with our prefix, we declare that we're going to be listing all of the data types or data fields to index with this option schema. Now we have, let's look down here. We have, you'll notice that these are all JSON path expressions. So $.author as author text. So we're basically saying, I want you to index the author field, that's $.author, as author. As author means I'm going to refer that author field as author. Seems kind of elementary, but it'll make a little bit more sense as we go along with this actual column here.
Well, and even when you look at like like the metrics.score, I don't want to have to always call that metrics.score. If I'm trying to search for it, I want to simplify that name, maybe all that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, and you can change it to something that's just a little bit more human readable. This was in preparation for having large, complex JSON objects. So when you drill down and you have, 4 or 5 levels down, you can just call it a thing. And it just makes it so much easier. So
absolutely.
Yeah. So that last word text is just saying, hey, when you're indexing these authors, these are going to be text. So I want you to do full text search capabilities on these authors, which makes sense. So we're doing the exact same thing with title, as you see here. And then description as well. So we're going to be searching through the description as full text because it's a paragraph. Makes sense. $.year published as year published numeric sortable. Now, this is a different one. This is saying it's numerics because it's a year published. So I want to be able to look at a year range of published dates. And sortable. Sortable means it keeps it indexed, sorted. So it's a lot faster to retrieve that in a sorted fashion. And you can actually test, it's cheap and easy to actually create these indexes and destroy them. So I highly recommend that people test it out with sortable and not with sortable, see the performance and see if the sortable works for you, if it's something that you want.
Also, I don't know if you just heard a noise or not, but I heard it in my headphones even. My cat opened the door, so I just wanted to clarify. Like there was like a loud creaking noise, and I'm just like, my house isn't haunted. Like there's no one walking around. Like my cat just figured out how to open the door.
Cats are not interested in queries.
Not anymore. We had him for a little while, but we lost him.
So we have $.pages is pages numeric sortable. So it's the same thing. We're treating the page as a number, so we can look up ranges. And then, $.metrics.score as just score. It's just easier.
Makes sense, yeah.
And so then we can actually look up books by score. So I want to see all the books that are scored 4 and above. I only want good books. Yeah.
So could I make text sortable as well if I wanted to have like alphabetical order, like if that was important for me? Okay.
Yes, you can. Absolutely. Yeah.
It's not that important with authors and titles for search purposes, but if I like was actually maintaining, I don't know, maybe I keep all my books sorted by their author in alphabetical order.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That would be a way to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. And you also have the option of like, once you retrieve these authors or titles, you can sort them on your own from the client side. So if that need ever arises. And then this last one, this is a good one. This is interesting. This is the genres. And you notice that we're doing $.genres and then in square brackets, an asterisk. That means it's a wild card, which means everything. And it's saying, I want to take everything within our genres array, and I want them to be tags. And I'm going to call it genres. So if we have a book that's fantasy, science fiction, and futuristic, those 3 words are going to be treated as individual tags. So if I search for one of those tags, that book would show up. Yeah, that's nice. Now, if you ever have, if it's not an array, if it's a string of keywords that are separated by spaces, or if it's a string of words separated by commas, you can actually still use that as a tag. And you can actually give an optional optional command to say separator, comma, or separator, quote, quote. And that just says, look at this and know how to separate these keywords.
Yeah. Okay, very cool.
It's really nice. And by default, the array of strings, they just know. Search just knows to separate each element out from that array and turn it into a tag. Yeah. So I will actually enter this command into my Redis Insight here. Let me just make sure everything's good. Yep, it's awake. And then I'll paste in this command. And again, you see all this hint, gray text. This will help you along the way. This is a very large command. And sometimes it's just really nice to have help. So I'll press enter. It says, okay. And this is a really, really big hint. When you're building out your indexes, sometimes things will go awry. It's just not capturing what you want. So if you want to check on your index and see if it actually has what you're wanting, call ft.info. And then index:book demo. And it will give you that big, huge list of information about your index. It basically tells you if it's healthy, if it's running, if it's actually indexing documents, the amount that you expected. So And it looks pretty good. When you start seeing things like this, that means it's actually indexing properly. Sometimes you'll see some nans, some not a number, or some n/a's. Those are not good.
Okay.
And so it'll give you like the average size, the total number of I forgot you can't actually highlight this with your mouse in Insight. The num records, so that's 185,612. That means that they've indexed all of these JSON documents, and those are all different, unique things to search with.
Okay.
Pretty cool. Number of docs, so there's 1487. That's good.
Okay, so hypothetically, should that number be 1487 times however many fields we indexed? Is that what that? Okay.
Yep. And then you can see here how we typed in and how we told search to create these data fields. We can make sure that they actually came through. So $.author is as author, and it's a text. And you'll see this weight here. Weight is basically how often it will be returned first as a search result as compared to others. Oh. So you can give things that are more commonly searched for more weight.
Okay.
And so by default, everything's 1. So everybody has the same actual weight. And this is just a good check to make sure that you put everything in correctly. And then again, it's indexing on JSON. The name of the index is index:book demo, and the prefixes is RU204 book. So it's good to know.
Okay.
And if you're ever just completely lost and you're like, I don't even remember what my index is called, you can do ft._list. And that will tell you all of the indexes that you currently have in your database.
Okay.
So that's really helpful. I really like that one because when I was building out RU204, we actually used a couple different indexes. So this one was like, oh, what do I have? Oh, I also have location index. So cool. All right. So we successfully created the index. Let me see. Nope. I was just going to see if it actually created anything visible on this, but it didn't. So back to this. Here's another write down of what all those different lines are when creating an index. So you'll definitely want to check that out. So now here's an example of when we actually run a query with search. We're using the ft.search command, and it looks like we're looking for books and we're getting 2 documents back. And this is what to expect from Redis CLI. This will be different from, I believe, from actual clients, but it looks like a typical Redis CLI return. So you get the amount that you're getting as the first line, the total amount of documents coming back, and then the name of the key of the first document, what you're getting. So you're getting just the root, so the entire document, and then here's the entire document. So
okay.
Yeah, shouldn't be too much of a kerfuffle. It's basically exactly how we actually run Redis.
Yeah.
So here we go with our first command, and this is really exciting. So this is looking. So we'll call ft.search. That's going to call search on our book demo index. That's very important that we include that as the second argument. And then the third argument, you'll see it's in quotes, at title, : and then in parentheses, running out of time. So let's unpack that.
She wrote one of my favorite young adult series when I was in middle school. She's an incredible author. Highly recommend Margaret Peterson Haddix.
Oh, perfect.
I love that that's the example that's in here.
Yeah. So this is the result of a search. I'm imagining since we only got 1 return, then there's no other books. But you see that at title, that's referring to the title that we named it. So as title is at title. And you'll want to have that at character before all of your searches. And then within parentheses means you're looking for the exact phrase right there.
Okay.
So if we were looking for let's actually run this command in my insight. And there we go. So we have just one return. And then let me take this out of parentheses and let's see what happens. Same thing. But what if I take out of time? Okay, so now we're getting, it looks like a bunch of different books back. All of these have, which one is it? There it is. That was the command. All of these have title or running in their title. So we have 6 books. Richard Bachman. That's actually Stephen King. Fun fact. Redis University. So we actually popped up and running with Redis.
Up and running with Redis JSON. There's our title.
That's awesome. William F. Nolan and their book. I can't find the title. Where's the title?
Logan's Run.
Oh, Logan's
so there's
Run.
A little bit of that fuzzy match.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
The fuzz is activated. And then Margaret Peterson Haddix and Adrian Walker and Marco Ianciti. So there
the
you
end
go.
of the World Running Club. Oh man.
That sounds pleasant. So yeah, you see the command that I did to get a broader search was just using a partial, so running. It will return anything with running. So running out will give me just one because there's only one book running out of time.
Okay.
So what if we do,
So if I put running out in parentheses, nothing?
Let's do that. Let's check that out.
I'm expecting nothing.
Oh.
Okay.
I think it's looking for the exact phrase running out.
Okay.
So what if we do...
so running in parentheses probably won't give us...
I'll have to look what parentheses does.
That's fair. Well, I was going to say, if it was just running in parentheses, I bet we don't get Logan's Run anymore.
Yeah, let's try that. Oh, we did.
Oh, fair enough. All right. Well, then I don't know what the parentheses mean anymore.
We'll find out. So yeah, that was one search with that's full text search. So let's look up another example. Let's do a description. So let's try Jesse discovers. Let's try that phrase. Let's discover that. Let's do, instead of at title, we'll do description. And so this is going to look through all of the descriptions in the index. And Jesse, what was it? Jesse discovers. Bam, there you go. That's very fast too, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of documents in here. Cool. So yeah, that's actually the first section. Just wanted to get you like excited for it. With the hands-on exercise, it does walk you through creating the index that we've already done, so we can skip that. And then, yeah, here we are searching for another book by the author Sarah Grayley, and it returns us just one because there's only one book here with that author. So if we search by books for somebody who's more prolific, perhaps, let's change this. So let's compare it. Sarah Grayley. So we get one. But what happens when we look up books like Stephen King? It's like every single time I, look at Amazon, there's like a new book that he's written, and here we go. These are all Stephen King books. Total of 15.
15. Yeah.
And it actually gave us, I do believe, 10 to start off with. So that means that we can paginate and look at more afterwards. So.
Man, this is a good list of books. I love Stephen King. There was that Dark Tower series that was in there.
Oh, yes. Don't even get me started. I absolutely loved reading those.
They were incredible.
They were very, very good. Okay, so they're giving us all the same information that we kind of talked about. So when you're searching for Sarah Grayley, the first line, 1, tells you how many documents were retrieved that matched. And then the second line gives you each key for every single book object. So we have. Cool. So now let's actually look at querying numeric values. So this is going to be a little bit different. And you'll definitely want to note the different punctuation and characters surrounding these. With numerics, you'll want square brackets because you're always going to be searching within a range. So here it looks like we're looking
at, do we know if that range is inclusive on both sides?
We'll find out.
That's fair.
I do believe it is, because if you're searching for a book that has exactly like 500 pages, you do 500 and 500 as the range. So, but we'll check that just to make sure. So I'm looking at this one, and it looks like it's looking for books that have pages between 350 and 500. And then you'll see this limit 00. We'll talk about what that is in a little bit, but let's copy this over. So again, pages between 350 and 500, it gives us 182. If we did not have that limit 00, we're basically getting the entire list of books back. And we don't exactly want that. If we want just a count, we just limit 00. So that's really useful. But let's actually try, let's find books that are only 500. How many books that have only 500 pages? None. Interesting. Well, so let's broaden our search. How about 490? There's 11 books. So let's actually observe that. And trying to look for pages. 494. It's like, where's Waldo? Oh, wow.
Oh, 490. Yeah.
Oh, you did see a 490? Okay.
I saw a 490. Yeah. I can't point to your screen. I was about to point, and I was just like, you can't see where I'm pointing.
So here it is. Here's that 490. Cool. So we know that it's inclusive. 497, 494, 490. Definitely. Awesome. So that's how you do that. And another thing is, instead of actually putting in a number, you can put in infinity.
Oh.
So infinity. Or not. What is it? Regular I? There we go.
There we go.
Yeah. So there are 1,113 books above 500 pages, or including 500.
Yeah.
So that's good to know. How many books are above? Maybe 1,000? Wow, that's a lot of books. That's a lot of good reading. That's, oh wow. All right, let's go up here. 0. Okay. That's sensible. Okay. Well, that must be a hard publisher stop. Woo. Okay. Well.
Wow.
You'll see that we're kind of on the track to find our largest.
Yeah.
So let me switch over there. So this is actually going to be for tags. Now, tags, again, you're looking for keywords. So you want to find food taco trucks that are Mexican and vegetarian, or you want to find books that are science fiction or futuristic and science fiction.
I was just about to ask how to do 2 of them. Yeah. But it seems like you'll get there.
Definitely. So yeah, here we go with our first genre, speculative fiction. And we're basically calling at genres. And then with this, we're actually surrounding the tag in curly braces. And that's very important. Those curly braces tell Redis that we're looking at tag words. So let's give that a try. $287. So there's 287 speculative fiction books. Let's look up. Let's do science fiction, big one. That'll be huge.
Ooh.
So 1,129.
So I mean, we've got what, like 1,400 books in the data set, thereabouts?
Yeah, yep.
Okay.
So around there. And then what else could we do? Aliens. No aliens. I think it's science fiction. It's pretty well organized. So science fiction.
Nope.
Oh, it doesn't like. Oh, it's a good learning moment. It doesn't like the parentheses within there. So still doesn't like it. Interesting. I'll have to find out how you get around that. Okay, let's look at fantasy. Woo, there's a huge amount of fantasy books. So yeah, we'll have to look. I think you have to escape parentheses or maybe put them in quotes. Forget. We'll find out.
We'll find out.
Yeah.
That's why we're here. We're learning. I'm learning. You wrote the course. I'm learning it.
I know. There's a lot to search. So a lot of the stuff I've actually forgotten.
Oh yeah. And it definitely is, it's one of those things where it's like, oh, that's like a syntax thing where I don't use it every day, so I forget it. And then you go figure it out. And
yeah, that's why we're here. We have so much documentation and videos. There's no need to memorize everything.
Exactly.
So yeah, this here we are breaking down the command, the search command. So now we're looking at the title, any title that contains after time. And looks like after time brings up one result, book by Sophie Littlefield. And it is, just trying to find the name, description, edition, trying to give full credit here.
It's just called After Time.
Okay. Yep. Notice it's capitalized too, so that's
true. Yeah.
The search value is truncated from after time to after. All the documents with the title containing the string after in their title will be returned. So that's good to know. That's how we were kind of playing with the previous book. You may not always want Redis to return the whole document. That's definitely the case, because if we're trying to find a title, we have to like search through all this word salad. Using the optional return parameter to only receive fields that you specify, that will allow you to just get what you want. So here we go, ft.search index book demo title after return one title. So this is saying, I want you to return just the title of whatever you find when searching with this.
So
go ahead.
Is that number one just telling it how many things I'm going to tell it to return? So like if I wanted like the title and the author, I would do like return to author title.
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah. So this is very similar to when we were setting up the prefix with the index command. This is just telling the RESP protocol expect 2 arguments after this.
Yeah.
So let's call this, and there we go. Return one title. And so upon looking for after, just after, not the other one, we're getting in the after, 1 second after the apocalypse, a wish after midnight, ooh. After the fall, before the fall, during the fall.
That's an order.
I know, seriously.
After, before, during.
This needs to be sorted.
I'm now very curious.
Life after life, the day after never. That sounds like a Bond movie, actually. So yeah.
But did we get after time?
What's that?
But did we get after time?
No.
Okay.
We get 10 results. Yep, 20. That's interesting. So if you want after time, that's very interesting. So maybe it didn't do substring, or it's not a common substring.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think the fuzzy logic actually gives preferential treatments to like words and nouns that have ing, like ing.
Sure. Like running gave us Logan's run. Yeah.
So I wonder if we would actually search by ran, if we would get something with running or run.
Okay.
Yeah. So you can do this, like we're just returning title here. What if we want to get title and author? So I'll give 2, oops, and there we go. Title, after time, and then author, Sophie Littlefield.
There we go.
And then say, this is getting a little ahead, but if we wanted to give an alias to one of our field types, if we just don't want people to know what our field types are named, that's actually really useful. So I'm giving it 4 arguments. So title, author, as writer. And then you'll notice title, after time, writer, Sophie Littlefield.
Oh, so that 4 includes the keyword as. So that's it's okay.
Yeah. So then, yeah, that 4 doesn't tell you how many things you want back. It's just telling you the amount of arguments you're giving.
Yeah. Okay.
So we can do, let's change it to 6. And we'll call it title as book title. And there we go, book title and writer.
Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And that's just one way to like sort of like separate your internal naming from the outside world.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Cool. So here we go, just sort of talking a little bit more about, you know, how to return things. Again, title and author.
Yeah.
And then we actually have this other option called no content. And this is basically saying, I don't want the content of the keys. I don't want all the document content to come back. I just want the keys. And that's really nice for doing like basic checks. And it doesn't load up all of that data.
Yeah.
So you can definitely see how this would help if you're doing, if you wanted to get just basic information without actually getting the entire content of those JSON docs back. So here we go. Let's try. So we know after we got 10 back, and so there we go.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then if we do after time, so let me get rid of all this. No content. We'll just get 1 and the key.
There we go.
Yeah, so it's really helpful. And that just makes your returns over your network just very, very fast. So now we have tags. Now tags, again, are a lot of fun. They're really interesting. So science fiction aliens does exist. We'll have to figure that out. So here's an example of an array of one of the books. It has space opera, my favorite genre, fantasy, dark fiction, dystopian fiction, science fiction. And again, here is us creating.
Oh, so this is what you're saying with how I can tell it what separator to use.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, actually, excellent. So it's double.
Oh, there we go.
To separate. All right. And then no content. Let's actually run this. I want to see this. I feel vindicated. And I was correct, but I was just.
You were close. Yeah.
I was very close. So if we're looking for science fiction dystopia, no content, we're just going to get the number of documents back plus the keys of those documents. And so we have 521, and we're just getting the first 10.
Okay.
So let's look at aliens. I have to. Oh, thank you. Not saying it's aliens, but it's aliens. Thank you. I had to. All right, so multiple tag keywords may also be used when searching for documents. So if we're looking for science fiction dystopia or science fiction apocalyptic, so if I'm like just I just want my books to be a real bummer. Doesn't really matter if the world's ending or not, or if it's just like a really, really bad society and way of living. I just want to I'm on the beach. Fair. I want to bring the sunshine down a level. We'll use this command. So we're looking at FT search index book demo, and then we're looking for science fiction dystopia, and then the or type, science fiction apocalyptic, and then no content. So this is going to give us both, basically. So we're going to get 524. So notice.
So is there also an and operator?
There is an and. There definitely is an and. And that's easy. It's just a blank space. So
Oh,
here
okay.
so yeah, if we want both tag words within our books, we'll look for science fiction and then science fiction
Okay.
apocalyptic. So now will give us both. So let's actually look at that. So the or is 524, the and is 111. So that makes sense. And you notice that like you can do multiple as well. So let's actually go back here. Let's do, sorry, make it easy for
Ooh,
everybody.
so could we add like a title? So could we do like, I want the title to contain shadow?
You know what? Based off of like books, yes, there's going to be something. Oh.
Oh. So I was going to ask, why does that one have to be a new string? Since like the genres, I guess I was looking, okay.
Oh, it needs, I didn't notice that. Yeah, maybe. Shadow. Oh, it's because I'm using double quotes. Come on, Justin. Let me just fix this here. Or let me just put it in that. There we go.
Okay.
So now we have two books that have the title, the word shadow in them, are dystopian and apocalyptic science fiction. And let's do, instead of no content, let's just do return 3 title as shadow title. And also because I'm a stickler, this should be capitalized. And there we go.
Shadows and weighing shadows.
And weighing shadows. Very cool. So yeah, awesome. So we can make some pretty huge queries. So
Yeah.
you can see this being used and built before execution if somebody's putting in filters.
Absolutely.
You know, so if we can find, you know, let's also do at pages. Let's do 500 to infinity. I like big books. And then let's do return to title and pages. And there we go. So Weighing Shadows is a big book.
Big book.
1,174. That's cool. So
Yeah.
you create these very large queries and then execute them. And okay, this makes sense now. You see that this is still just one string.
Yep.
So as you're building your query string, you can just execute this, and from the Redis client or Redis Home client, you just drop it in.
Yeah.
There you go.
Awesome.
Nice. Silly search tricks. So here we go, just kind of demonstrating how to look for things with numeric. So this one is looking for a book that has exactly 1,000 pages, and then we're returning the title. And then here we're looking for books between 100 and 350 pages. And then again, we're returning to title and pages. So title, pages, title, pages, title, pages. And these are 192, so we're not going to see all the returns, just the first 10. And yeah, this is good to know, the infinite. So, I totally forgot about parentheticals as bounds.
Okay.
For boundless range limits, we can use negative infinity, infinity, and positive infinity.
Okay.
Yeah. Does Python have infinity, or do you have to import that?
I think it's a math. I think it's in like the standard library, but I think you have to import math.
Okay, that makes sense. I think with JavaScript, it's just a capital infinity and negative capital infinity. It's kind of fun.
Oh no, you can use float parentheses inf.
Oh,
so you can use like the string inf, but you have to cast it to a float, and it knows what that means though.
That sounds like a fun, silly Python trick. That's awesome. So here we go. As far as the inclusive or exclusive, this parentheses says that this will be exclusive. So if you want scores,
Okay.
if we're looking at like a metric scores,
Strictly
scores
greater.
yeah. If you want greater than 4.5, then you'll put a parentheses
Okay.
before 4.5. Makes sense. So this one right here is looking for scores that are greater than 4.5 to infinity, and then return scores. So here we go. There's 17 books that are better than 4.5. It's a tough crowd. But we have 4.53, 4.51, 4.6, 4.56. Cool.
Oh man, so is 4.6 the highest score we've got?
Yeah, looks like it.
Now I want to know what book that is.
It's
that's fair. We've got 17, and yeah.
And these are not sortable. We didn't set these as
Okay.
sortable, so there might be something more.
Yeah.
And there is a sort by option that we can use, but that's for later.
Okay.
So yeah, here we are looking at timestamps. Now, I kind of spoke earlier about if you have like time or dates, you want to convert those to Unix timestamps because it's just really, really nice and easy. It gives us a number that search can kind of just chomp onto and use for range. So here, we're pretending that there's like a date created field type, and we're looking for books that are created between this arbitrary date and this arbitrary date. And you'll receive whatever books are returned. And so if we wanted to create a date created, we would just do it this, treat it as a numeric, and then treat it as sortable to receive all the returns in sorted order. And we did play with that by looking up page counts. Let's actually do your ft.search index : book demo, and then at year. What do we have? I always forget. I
think it's just year underscore published.
Year underscore published. Okay, cool. Year underscore published : and then in parentheses, let's look up old books, negative infinity, and I'd say 1980. It's not exactly old, but okay. So we have returns. Let's do no content. I just want to know how many books we have.
Yeah.
191. Okay.
Okay.
So let's look up some older books. How about 1950? 45.
Oh, wow.
That's impressive. 1925.
Wow.
It was pretty cool. Let's look up the titles. Let's see if we can know a few. Return title as old book title. Oh. That's me not putting in my number of argument. There we go. Looking backward, 2000 to 1887. War of the Worlds. Okay. Alice's Adventure in Wonderland. This makes sense. The Iron Heel. Haven't read that. The Gods of Mars. Wow. Sounds like light reading. Gulliver's Travels. Utopia. The Trial. Cool. Yeah. So that's how you would actually use years. And then let's try, let's do, it's like all.
What about new books?
Yeah, let's do all books greater than 1999 to infinity.
I was going to say, I actually have no idea when this data set is pulled from. So I don't know what new books are going to be. I don't know how new
yeah,
is.
It's I think it's like 2000. Well, we'll be able to do sort by. That's a little bit later.
Fair.
But these are books. I think we pulled 2018 or 2019, the top 10,000 books. So let's look up year published. Ooh. So we have 1,075. I see 17 there, so I'm kind of showing you the process of painfully figuring things out. Oh yeah, we have 2020. I think it's the last one.
Okay.
There's much easier ways of doing this.
Oh wait, there was a 2022 in there.
Was there?
I thought so, but I could be blind. Yeah, number 19,
Oh,
2022. Oh,
I know who that is.
is that Redis?
That's Redis. Cool. So that was numerics, and then now let's play with geo. Now geo is a little different. It's not included in our books demo because books don't necessarily need geospatial locations. But we do need to have longitude and latitude as a string separated by a comma. And so as an example, we're going to use the Golden Gate Bridge. So longitude negative 122.4783, latitude 37.8199. And here's an example of a location and name, type, description. And then, yeah, here we go, location. And then we have longitude and latitude separated by a comma.
So could we add a location to one of these books just to see like what that looks like in Redis Insight? I'm curious what that is. It a string? Does it become like the geo index, like the way that Redis Geo does?
Yeah, we will definitely work on that, and we'll find out. Yeah. We'll look at it. That's, I think, is going to be actually in our hands-on right after this.
Okay.
So yeah, as when we're creating geo, we do $.location as location, so that's an alias, and then geo as the data type, and then we're setting it as sortable because you want to sort your locations. And then for searching.
Okay, so we can search it by radius, and okay, cool.
Yeah. This is basically, it just takes the entire feature of geospatial indexing into search, which is wonderful.
Yeah.
And yeah, it makes it really easy because you're just giving the was it longitude or latitude? Yeah, longitude and then latitude, and then within 50 kilometers. So find everything within that. And so it will return exactly what we were looking for. And then you can do whatever you want with that. You know, you could compound your searches with like restrooms, like public restrooms, or accepts MasterCard, or has free Wi-Fi, things like that. And those are all extra queries that you can tack onto that query string. So it's perfect. I love having geo within search. It makes me very happy.
Yeah, absolutely.
So the query syntax, this is just like an extension of like the little magic options within the search capabilities. I'm not going to go through all of these, but this actually helps a lot. So multi-word phrases for when we're searching. So foo bar baz. If we're looking for the phrase foo bar baz within our title, it's an and. Those are all anded together.
Okay.
So that's
it's not that we're looking for foo bar baz. It's that we're looking for foo and bar and baz. They don't have to be right beside each other. Okay.
Yeah. And so we could actually have a title come up that says Baz Bar Foo or Bar Foo Baz.
The foo of bar and the baz.
Yes. Shadow Foo, a bar tale by Baz. And then we have, if you want exact phrases, you put them in quotes.
Okay.
And then unions we do with a pipe.
The pipe.
Yeah. So hello or hallo or shalom or ula. There is negation. So there's hello but not world, or so purely negative.
Is that not title foo or bar?
Yeah.
So my title cannot have foo or bar in it.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a bit complex, but you can definitely do that.
Yeah.
This is like silly search tricks. All terms starting, containing, or ending with a term are expressed with asterisk.
Wildcard. Cool.
Yeah, so you do have to have at least 2 characters, otherwise you would probably blow up search because you're looking for such a vague term.
Yeah.
Which makes sense. So wildcard pattern matches, you have W single quote, foo star bar single quote. And that's kind of how you do like a wildcard. Anything between foo and bar.
So what is that question mark? Is that a literal question mark, or is that a?
I think that's part of the wildcard pattern matcher.
Okay.
I think. There is 1 second here. There is query syntax. Redis search query syntax. There's a master document that we based this off of.
Okay.
Okay, so that question mark is any single character.
Okay. Oh, so it's not quite regular expression, but it's touching into that type of.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's getting dangerously close. And this is what I'm looking at. Wildcard matching. Does this show up on my screen?
Yep.
Okay, yeah. Question mark is for any single character, and asterisk is for any character repeating 0 or more times. So.
Ooh, so that asterisk, any. Okay.
Yeah, that's interesting. Let me see if there's anything else that's interesting. Oh yeah. This document goes in depth. I think this has actually been updated. Let me actually post this in the comment section in case anybody at home wants to check it out. Hello, Methlick. Any limitations on how many conditions can be set, string size or something like that? I do not know that limitation. There definitely has to be one.
There has to be something.
We haven't tested that. But I'd be limited, I imagine, to. Well, no, I don't know. I challenge you to find it. But I was about to say, well, it might be limited to just your field types, but then you can actually search for so many different field types recurring.
Yeah.
So I imagine, if
it probably is going to be just like the string length at some point.
Yeah, that is the limitation of the string length. So if we looked into the search component code base, we'd probably be able to find that out if they did that. But I know if we can do 512 megabytes as a key name, you might just be able to drop it.
Probably a very long string that it'll take. Yeah.
Yeah, good question.
I would be very impressed if someone hits the limit, and I would love to hear about it.
Yeah, that's a very complex search. Your actual database would have to be huge. So yeah, there's a lot of different query syntax tips and trips, and we're actually not, really covering all of them. We're doing like a scant fifth, I would say, in this course. But these are the most common ones. So if you want to look at the bigger ones or the more nuanced ones, definitely check it out. But this is really helpful to have. If you have pulled up this page, I would bookmark it or screenshot it or print it out and frame it next to your computer. Just you can look at the kind of like the structure of how to do things. Fuzzy matching. This is exciting. Fuzzy matching on terms. So you can match hello surrounded by percentage means all terms with the Levenshtein distance of 1.
Levenshtein distance.
Yeah. So we can get a little bit of reading going on here. Oh, fun. Graphics and everything. And so it's
a pretty cool. I don't know if you've looked much into this, but it is pretty cool.
I haven't. Is there a TLDR?
No, not that I can give. I don't understand it well enough to summarize it.
Oh, that's fair. That's totally fair. Yeah, I'll probably check that out. So yeah, it's definitely worth looking at the query syntax and the actual page too. That Redis actually houses as a reference. It's very large. It's very, very useful. Also goes over vector similarity. We don't cover that here, just because we don't cover that in our U204, but yeah. So let's see if there's anything that we can actually demonstrate from what we just learned. So right here, we're looking for Margaret Peterson Haddix again. No content. Looks like she wrote quite a few books.
She's written quite a few books, and that she's written more than 16.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
So I'm sure this is, the top. She's probably she's got quite a few series, and I'm sure like the last 2 books in the 10 series long probably didn't do quite as well.
Yeah, that makes sense. And this is not an exhaustive book list. This is
Exactly. Yeah.
very specific book list. Searching across multiple fields. So down here, now we're looking at the author Margaret Peterson Haddix and the genre is realistic fiction. And here's this one.
That's the only one that's realistic.
Yep, running out of time.
Yeah.
So multiple field search continued. Now we're looking these are our favorites. Stephen King, genres horror, and then title contains tower. And here we go, The Dark Tower.
The Dark Tower. There it is.
Oh, such a good. I'm tempted. When I was working on this course.
If you reread them, I'll reread them.
Okay, we should have a Redis Stephen King horror book club. And he didn't index his database. Ooh.
This is actually one of the first book in that series is one of a few books that every time I go to a used bookstore, if I find a copy, I'll pick it up because I give it to people. I'm just like, oh, you want a book to read? Here, have this one. But I don't want to ever give away my last copy. Like I want to always have a copy. So I pick up a used copy whenever I find one.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Not to give too much personal detail, but my father read this book to me when I was a kid.
Oh, how old were you?
Not old enough. He caught me reading it, and he's like, "What are you doing? Is this bad? Are you traumatized?" I'm like, "No, it's bad, but it's a really good story." And he's like,
"It's bad, but it's good."
He's like, "Yeah, you're right. Well, why don't I read this with you? If you have any questions, we can talk."
Okay.
Yeah, I'm completely normal. No childhood trauma. So here's an example, of course. Are there any Stephen King books that are less than 300?
Oh, wow. Pages? Honestly, I'm surprised.
Yeah, there are two. Those are novels.
Oh, okay.
Novellas. These are short stories.
Wolves of the Kaya? Kaya? I don't know how you say that one.
I think it's Kala. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Dreamcatcher. That was actually a pretty good movie back.
I don't think I've read that one.
I haven't read it. I saw the movie.
Okay.
I should read it. I bet it's really good. Sleeping Beauty.
I bet it's weird.
I haven't read that one. Definitely.
Me neither. Did you read The Institute?
No, is that a new one?
It's a newer one, but we're getting off track. I'll send you a Slack later with the Stephen King books that I even more recommend than all of them.
Yeah. No, definitely. That'll be interesting. So yeah, here we're looking for two different numerical ranges. So basically go big or go small. We're looking for books that are less than 350 pages or books that are larger than 1,000 pages.
Okay.
And so drawing of the three, that was a Dark Tower, Wizard Glass,
Wolves of the Kala.
11/22/63. That was one of those.
That was that was a weird time travel. He's like trying to stop an assassination, right?
Yeah. I think it was the JFK assassination.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know all of Stephen King's books, but some of them.
I know a lot of the older ones, but not the newer ones. So with our
That's
power.
Fair.
So this one, we're looking with, this is tags. So we're looking under the genres young adult or survival adventure.
Ooh, I wonder how many are adventure, survival, and also dystopia. Because I feel like those tend to go hand in hand.
That's a good question. Let's find out. So let's look at adventure, survival, and science fiction dystopia. Double D's, dystopia. And we want to do an and.
Oh, that's true. None. That's fair.
Interesting.
I guess science fiction and adventure don't necessarily often go hand in hand.
Yeah.
Well, that one you spelled science wrong, but
for science. Okay, it's good to know.
Huh. Yeah. I feel like a lot of dystopia is inherently survival, but that's just me.
Yeah. I mean, well, you know what? You know what a book that is definitely survival and dystopian?
What?
The Road.
Oh, that's fair.
So let's look up The Road and see what the genres are for that. At title, is it the road or just road?
I think it's the road, but I have been wrong before.
You know it's Cormac McCarthy, or I don't know how to spell his last one.
I don't know how you capitalize that one. Yeah.
Okay. So
Let's see. We've got science fiction dystopia.
Let's look at. Oh no, Cormac, and let's look at Return.
Oh,
that was definitely the road. So let's look up Return to title and genres. Just apocalyptic, post-apocalyptic.
Interesting.
That is very interesting. I would imagine it'd have more genres, but
I would. Will you get rid of that return?
Yeah. Let's take a look at it.
I thought there were more. Yeah, so it's got genres. We've got apocalyptic, classics, contemporary.
Oh, I think what I'm doing is title and then all genres. That's very strange.
I'm sure we'll find out through this course how to get a whole list back.
Yeah. Let me just verify real quick in Redis Insight what's in there, because now I'm curious. There we go. Okay. Wow, so there is a lot of genres, and we're just getting the first one.
Yep.
So I think we need to do some further work to actually get the first one out, or get all of them out.
Yeah.
When we're calling return. I think that might be an aggregate, which is later on.
Yeah. We'll learn it. We'll find out.
There's no survival.
We
did find out because there's not much survival going on in that.
It's fair.
Yeah, it's good to know. And then here we are looking for young adult and adventure survival, and we're getting, and notice it's and right here, and we're getting 41. So that's good to know. And we're doing horror.
Young adult adventure, not horror.
Not horror.
Right?
So they want adventurous young adult books, but not too scary.
No scary. Yeah.
Oh, Meffling. Survival is a myth. Everybody dies eventually. True.
That's
Unless
fair.
it's in cloud. And it's guaranteed. 5 nines. So yeah, that's good to know. It's good to see that. Negative just negates it. No horror. I don't want my adventures to be scary.
Yeah.
And so now this is actually we're going to be creating some geo. So
okay.
If you just want to talk amongst yourselves, let's see if I can actually add all these in real quick. If I can just do it multiple times. Nope, just one. Okay. So I'm adding, these are all different locations in New York, in Manhattan.
Is there an M set?
Oh no, there's an unterminated quote. Oh, single quote. I don't believe that there's an M set. Let's find out though. JSON.
I'll find out. You can paste it. I'll find out.
I'm good. Nope.
Fair enough.
That would be nice. But again, if you have a lot of JSON to put into, if you have a lot of JSON to put into your Redis database, you have a lot of options. You can do it programmatically. Just read it in and then create a pipeline and then just drop them all in. Or, and this is my favorite, we have Riot, which is a Redis input output tool. And I use that in my live stream to help input a lot of I had 6.5 gigs of informations on birds. I used that to put in there, and I didn't want to create a program to run it. So Riot did it for me.
I haven't used Riot yet, so I will definitely
yeah, it's really cool.
Check that out. Yeah.
I really like it. So let's see here. Hands-on 3.2 library. I just duplicated it. Oops. Let me get rid of this search. And now we should see 10,002 keys. Let me just get this just to make sure I have it. So JSON.get hands on. Oops.
Nope.
Hands on underscore 3.2 : library. This is a easy to read key. And then peso to give me everything. There we go. So we have everything.
Okay.
So now that we have some objects in here, I want to actually create an index. So let's go over this index real quick. So we have index : library is going to be the name of the library, the index that we're creating. Again, we're going to be indexing JSON objects, and then all the keys are going to have the prefix hands-on 3.2 library.
Okay.
Name as name, we're going to treat it as text. The address is going to be a street address because it's going to be easy to read. And then the address.zip as zip code or just zip. City as city tag.
Ooh, okay.
Because the cities are common words shared amongst all of them. Dot coordinates as coordinates geo. So there's us implementing our geo indexing. And then facilities and then star in brackets as facility tag. So
that's our like standard list of strings. We don't have to tell it what type of separator. It knows exactly what to do with that one. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
And so for our library example in New York, it'll be like laptops, printers, photocopiers, desks, viewing rooms, Wi-Fi, things like that.
Okay.
So now let me enter that in. And then again, we call ft.info index : library to ensure that everything has been properly indexed. And we see a lot of values here, which makes me happy. Numdocs 8. So it all 8 docs. Cool. So to call search, so ft.search index : library, and then we're passing in @ coordinates. And then here is a location. And we're wanting to know if there's anything within 3 kilometers of this location.
Okay.
So let me copy this in. And plunk that down. And yeah, we have 2 locations. And we can just do, return. Return 1. Let's just get name. And there you go. The Aguilar library and then the Bloomingdale library.
So are they in Redis Insight yet? Can we see them? Or are they hiding?
So I don't know where they are.
Okay.
That's very strange. That's my thing.
That's okay.
Well, yeah, I was very curious. They should be in there, but they're not. Oh, well.
Oh, well.
But they are in there because I was able to verify them, so that's good.
Yeah, they're definitely there.
So now this query is actually looking for all libraries within a certain location that actually has Wi-Fi facility.
Yeah.
So that's nice. Metflix says 10,000 out of 100,000 keys shown.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's definitely true. I was just wondering, it should be up here under this. Oh, well, I'm just expecting it to be up here somewhere. Scan more. That's
scan more. Yep. There we go.
Kudos to you. Thank you. Yeah, and add the pattern. So hands on or hands. There we go. Yep.
Okay.
Perfect. So yeah, here's our hands-on library keys, and now here's one of the keys, coordinates. Oh, okay. So it's treated as like that.
Okay.
Good to know. And then our embedded thing.
I was curious if it would do like the geo sorted set type thing where it turns the coordinates into a geo hash in like if you do like an actual like geo add and you do coordinates, it turns it into a geohash, and that's what shows up in Redis Insight. So I was curious if it would be the same, but it is not. So that's interesting.
Yeah, it must do the computation at time.
Yeah.
Maybe, or at request. Interesting. So here's a request for facilities plus the location, and then we get just one Aguilar library. So Bloomingdale does not have Wi-Fi. Very sad. And then this is very, very important. Very important. If anybody's watching, if you have like a pen and a paper, write this down. ft.dropIndex deletes the index. That's it. ft.drop and then the index drops the index and then drops all of the documents that were in that index.
Oh, okay. So drop index really just gets rid of the index. It does nothing to get rid of the data.
Yeah.
But ft.drop will just be like, all right, trash, whole folder's going in the garbage. Okay.
Yes. During my live stream, I was building out an index, trying to debug it and troubleshoot it. And I kept on calling ft.drop, and it kept on returning 0 results. And I was like, what's going on after I create this new one? I was using drop instead of drop index, and it just made for just a captivating live stream. This guy.
Okay. My last live stream was also captivating, as I was muted for the first minute and a half of it without realizing.
Just you just make up your own. You can figure out what they're talking about.
Yeah. The hazards of live streaming.
I know. I love it. So yeah, let me call drop index just to make sure. We do some house cleaning, and then I'll refresh this. Okay, and then get rid of this because I want to make sure I see everything. And there we go.
I'm not sure if Methlik is saying that he's seen the hazards of live streaming, but he definitely has.
Well, I mean, I think he was on that stream watching, so that might have is that an owl emoji? Because yeah, and I think that was actually done by another one of our advocates during not during a stream, but just like playing with search in its infancy. So yeah, the next section is querying with JSON path expressions. So here, actually, it was just finished reading this book. It was really good.
It's incredible. I have the sequel sitting on my bookshelf.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Children of Ruin?
Yeah.
Oh, that's so funny. That's what I'm reading right now. For those of you not in the Redis book club, it is a space opera, and it's humans interacting with sentient jumping spiders and now sentient octopus? Question mark? Yeah, it's really cool. No spoilers, but it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So with JSON projections, you can return specific pieces of data, not just your indexed field types. So here, let's look at this one. We're looking for that same book, return 3, title, $.description, and $.url. So the URL and description are not indexed. So that's why we actually have to add the $sign.
Oh, okay.
So let's add that. Let's check this out. And there we go. We have the title and then $.description, $.url. And then, as you would think, if we do 5 and then we do as description, instead of $.description, which would go to maybe your front end as a user, you would just see description.
Okay.
So
cool.
Can, compound all the things we've learned. This one, oh yeah, well, it's using exactly what I said. Got ahead of myself. What do we have here? So this one is using a little bit more complex.
Oh yeah, we're digging down into that one.
Yeah, so this is doing the recursive.
That recursive, search. Yeah.
So this is, instead of doing $.metrics.rating votes, it's just looking for rating votes somewhere within the child or
Yeah.
from the root. And that's nice because you don't have to type as much. Or if you have a very, very large JSON object where you just don't want to drill down, or if you want to grab the exact same field from multiple sub documents or sub objects, you just do. So there we go. Easy. So I don't know. Let's see here. Oh, okay. So now we're going to do a little bit more playing with the JSON path extensions, and then we're also going to play with changing limit around a little bit. And so let's look at this. See, this search is getting a little bit bigger, which is exciting. We're looking for books by Neil Gaiman.
Sure.
Gaiman.
I've never listened to him say his own name, so I just avoid saying it out loud.
That's a very good idea. Return 7. So we're going to be returning a very customized package. Title, $.description as about the book, $.year published as release year, limit 03. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So those are 7 keywords. And then after that, we can continue on with our other commands.
Yeah.
So Redis returns a set containing 10 books. Each result includes the book title, the description, year published. To keep responses short, you paginated the result to using limit 03. So 10 books total, but we're just looking at 3 books.
Okay. So 0 to 3 is 0, 1, and 2.
Yep.
Okay.
So here, we're just looking up the inventory of The Dark is Rising.
Ooh.
And it looks like one book is a little tattered and they're fixing it. And again, this is JSON path expression, so to give the entire array of the inventory for The Dark is Rising.
And it says in there for an exact string search, use parentheses around the title. So
there you go. We should have told ourselves that much earlier. I'll change that. Let's see all the different editions of the books written by P.J. Manny. Let's also change the name of editions to languages offered in a result set.
Ooh.
So this one is looking up P.J. Manny, and we're getting author and then title, and then editions as languages offered. And there we go. Languages offered, English, Spanish, and French. Cool. So these are all pretty good. This is score. This will be good. This is also a recursive JSON path search. So this is going straight down to any field that has score. Our books are safe because they only have 1 score value. But if we had different scores, it would just grab all of them. So this is just pulling detective mysteries and thrillers and returning the titles and the scores as a rate. Cool. All right, so now we're going to get a little thick. Aggregate queries they're starting to get a little bit more complex, but they are extremely powerful. I liken this to kind of like how we have Lua with regular Redis.
Yeah.
Aggregates kind of just allow you to do some much more complex things.
Sure.
I highly recommend that you look up the documentation on aggregate queries for search with Redis, because there's it's constantly evolving. It's getting more and more functionality, but you definitely want to see, just read the docs basically.
Yeah.
So let's look at the top 10 years the most books were published in descending.
Oh, okay.
So
we're getting very close to finding the longest book in this data set.
Yeah,
like we're getting close. I can tell.
So let's first call FT aggregate on this on the actual whole index star, meaning the entire index.
So does that aggregate just replace search and just give me like more keywords that I can use, basically? Like instead of doing ft.search group by, like I can't do a group by in a search. I have to go out to the aggregate function.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, because search on its own has a lot of options and subcommands. So aggregate just is its separate beastie.
Okay.
Good question. So we're going to group all of those books by year published. So there's going to be different buckets of books that all have the common year published.
Yep.
We're going to reduce those buckets to a count as total published. So this is basically saying, I want you to turn those buckets into just a number of books. Yeah.
That group by one. That's the I'm giving you one thing to group by.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then like that sort by two is I'm giving you two arguments.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. And then count, I believe, does receive some optional arguments, but count is not getting anything. So that's why we have a 0.
Yeah.
So we're taking that count of each year and we're reducing it to a variable called total published. So now we're creating our own little variable on the fly. And then you see here, sort by two, total published. Notice we're doing at total published because we're referencing that variable.
That variable that we just made, yeah.
Exactly. And then descending.
Cool.
So let's actually, instead of looking at it on just this document, let's actually run it. It's good to know.
Yeah.
And so now we have 2015 total published was 86 books.
Okay.
And this is just our list. So it's not exhaustive. 2013 was 85, 2014, 82, 2012, 74, 2011, 73. Yeah, and then we have 2017 is 70. So this is all descending by page number or books published, not a year.
So the 2016 and 2017 have the same total published.
Right.
How did it decide which one to put first? Is it random? Is it something?
Well,
any thoughts?
It might be random. We can check second. Keep on. Yeah, it looks like it's not random. So it's going to do a secondary sort by year published.
Okay.
Default. Yeah, it looks
fair enough.
Yeah, good question. Because yeah, sometimes Redis will just return whatever it gets first.
Yeah.
And that can cause chaos if you're not used to that. But yeah. All right. So yeah, here's a further breakdown. Yeah, this is basically what we talked about. Wow, we're really good. Count 0 is total publish. So reduce converts all the documents within each grouping of year published into a single number. The number is referred to as the total published. That's like the big thing that I think is really good. The number and arguments directly after group by, count, and sort by are called parameter arguments. So that's that 0, that 1.
That 0, the 1, and the 2, yeah.
They use the parameters that take a variable number of arguments. So we definitely need to keep those in mind when you're building these, because for the RESP protocol that Redis uses, that's what it requires.
Yep.
So here we are sorting by first name ascending, then last name descending, then country ascending.
Okay.
And so I think, let me look up the word default. There we go. By default, sorting is ascending, but Ask Our Desk can be added for each. So basically, whether we want to or not, it's just naturally sorted by year as the secondary. Yeah. So here's a big rundown of all the different aggregation subcommands. Group by puts everything all in buckets. Reduce turns into a number, or you can use a reduction function. Count distinct. You use sort by. Max gives you like the top.
Sorting only the first. Yeah. Okay.
Apply is a transformation, so you can apply something to a group of things that you've created. Limit, of course, gives you just only so many. And filter, you can filter the results using expressions relating to the values themselves. So post query, you can filter them out between your different aggregations.
So how would I find like the max published works that are science fiction?
So let's see here. You would.
It's like if I wanted to add to that aggregate that I only want things that were science, that had the science fiction genre. How do I do that?
I think you would filter between
Okay.
aggregate and group by. You'd plunk in a filter.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure what the actual. I'm not quite sure what the actual phrase would be.
Yeah.
The actual query, but that's where you'd probably put it. Cool. So let's look at another aggregation example. These are kind of hard to do with books, surprisingly, but in other scenarios, it's a lot more useful. Here we have the top 10 authors who have produced the most books in our document collection.
Yeah.
So some of these should be, of course, very, very popular. I bet Stephen King's in there. So we're going to aggregate all books within our index book demo. We're going to group by author. So we're going to create buckets for each author.
Mary Pope Osborne wrote the Magic Tree House books.
Oh, okay. Yeah. We're going to reduce them all as published works. And then we're going to sort by the published works descending. So the highest first. So yeah, Terry Pratchett, Mary Pope Osborne, Brandon Sanderson, Margaret Peterson Haddix, Stephen King, Jodi Taylor, Brian K. Vaughan, Philip K. Dick, Isaac Asimov, and James Dashner. So yeah, again, if you wanted to do a filter, I put the filter between aggregate and group by. So you want like the top 10 authors who have produced the most science fiction books.
Okay.
Cool. All right, so here's another one. This one's a biggie. So let's start by observing the average page count, max page count, and min page count of books per year released since 2000 in ascending order by year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Make sure to apply a floor function to the average page count for readability. If we compile this into a bar chart, will we notice a trend? Very interesting. So let's break this down very slowly. FT aggregate index : book demo. And instead of just doing an asterisk, we're doing year published 2000 to infinity. So
could I also just put like that genre right there?
Yeah, you could also do that.
Okay.
Yeah. So there's kind of two different ways. So we're only getting years published or books published after 2000.
After 2000 and beyond. Yes.
Yeah. And then we're grouping by year published. So each year is getting its own bucket.
Okay.
And reduce average pages as average page count. So it's taking bucket, and for every book in that bucket, it's figuring out the average page count.
Okay.
That's pretty complex. It's pretty awesome. We're calling that average page count. And then we only just want to see one, the biggest one. And then pages as max page count. I'm sorry. No, reduce. Here, let me use my mouse. So we're getting the average as average page count. We're also taking the maximum of all the pages as max page count. And then we're calling the minimum on pages as the min page count.
Yeah.
So we're getting all three values. And then the average is going to give us weird values because it's doing math. So it's going to give us like the average page count is 577.22224. Yeah. We're just saying no.
So that apply floor just gives us it just chops off the decimal point.
Yeah, that's doing a transformation of whatever it is to the floor. So chopping off the decimal point. And then we're just keeping that as the average page count. And then we're sorting by year published ascending. And we only want to see the 21.
But that as average page count doesn't need a new @ sign. But if we were referencing it, okay. So we need that @ when we're referencing it, basically.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. And here we go. So we have, for 2000, we had the average page count of 873. 2001, average page count of 824. 2002, 802. 2003, 795.
Oh, man.
Yeah. So I think I did this. Let me go down here. There we go. So now we can see the average page count since 2000. We can see the max page count, the min page count, and the average right there.
Not much of a change.
Yeah, I was wondering,
not
like,
too big of a change over time. Yeah.
Are we is the world reading smaller books? Is the world reading bigger books? Turns out.
Well, this is more. So I actually don't. What list did this come from? Is this books that people are actually reading, or is this books that are like winning awards?
This is the top 10,000 books that are winning rewards. So
okay.
Fair
so it doesn't
point.
necessarily mean everyone's actually reading them.
Yeah, that's true.
It means people in powerful places are reading them. And by powerful places, I mean deciding who gets to win book awards.
Yeah, publishers and critics and newspapers. Cool. Yeah, this is a lot of fun. Aggregates took the longest time for us to work on just because there's so many things that you can do.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I can't even imagine.
Yeah, it's like an existential crisis. So, all right, so we're getting really close to the end here. We're going to be sorting results.
Okay.
So that was aggregate. We're now popping back into search again. And this is allowing us to sort results, which is even closer to the biggest book in our database. So the sort results of a query is the sort by option, as we can probably see down there. Specify which field to sort by in ascending or descending order. If you don't use ascending or descending, then they just use ascending by default. So here's an example. We're looking at pages from 0 to 1,000 in our books. We're going to sort by pages in ascending order. So that's going to give us the smallest page count.
Okay.
And we're just going to look at the pages. So we're only going to get pages back. And here we go. So it looks like the smallest book we have is 202 pages. And then let's look up all of the books. And let's look up descending. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Let's get.
Oh, but can we return the title too?
Yeah, let's get to read title, author, and then pages. All right.
Okay.
Whoa.
Oh, Children of the Mind. Okay.
Yeah, that feels like it's 1,400 pages.
That reads, yeah.
That's cool. That's awesome. Wow. He's definitely wordy. There's a lot of character development in the Ender, or that's not Ender, that's Pip, right?
Bean?
Bean. Yeah, sorry. Pip, Bean.
Same thing.
Getting my small child story. Yeah, so that's cool.
Is it
100 pages?
Perfect. I think Children of the Mind is Ender.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's right after Xenocide.
Oh, it's the sequel. No.
It's the fourth.
It's the fourth. Okay.
I was gonna say, because I think I've read this one, and I never read the Bean books.
Oh, okay. Yeah. But I read them all.
Apparently, I also didn't read all the way through the Ender books because there's one after this called A War of Gifts, and I have not read that one. I have read. I pulled up the Wikipedia page on this one, obviously. I have definitely read this one. And then they start getting real weird, and I gave up after this one. I read this one and then gave up.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to get off to the rails, but the Bean series is good, but it's also a little like, it's less a story. It's more of Orson Scott Card preaching about what he thinks, and
that's how these ones ended up. Yeah. They took a nosedive.
I want more space.
Not a bad nosedive. Just a very different. They went from being more story to being very like the politics of the world.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. These are all big books around
These are-
1398. They're also the most prolific
Wow,
writers.
that Mary Pope Osborne, like that's one of the Magic Treehouse books. I was not expecting that to be like in one of the. I wasn't expecting any of those books to be in like the longest. Our longest list.
A hacker who wrote 1,400 pages. Wow, of course he would. Interesting. Very interesting.
Yeah,
good info. See, this is what I love about playing with data, especially with queries. You just find very interesting information. Like we could write our own recommendation system.
That's true.
That's our next stream.
Oh man, recommender systems are hard.
Well, yeah, you can make a really naive one.
That's fair. Yes.
I have a friend that works for a music site, a popular music site where bands can submit their music and you can buy it directly. It's
okay.
It does stream, but their main thing is like sales and merch of bands. And their recommendation system is simply a set of your music that you've purchased or you like, and they compare it to somebody else, and whatever is the non-union, they actually give to you.
Yeah.
So kind of works. It was really fun. I might interview her someday, just to sort of like go over the matching system and see if we can implement it. That'd be a lot of fun. So cool. We figured that out finally. Goal achieved.
There we go.
And then so for this one, we're getting all the scores of our books, and then we're sorting by score and descending. So yeah, we're looking for the highest rated book, RU204 book 352. What is that?
We rated our book the highest. We made our book the best rated.
We did. Brian K. Vaughan, Saga, book 2.
Saga, book 2.
So this did come from Goodreads, I believe. So if you ever want to check it out. So Goodreads people. So they probably read. If you're actually going onto a website to read, then it's to talk about your reading, that you're definitely a more prolific reader, I would imagine. Interesting.
Or Goodreads has gamified it and made it so that you can set a reading goal, and then you have to mark books that you're reading throughout the year for them to count. So it turned it into a game.
That's true. I actually am not on Goodreads, I'll admit it, because it's like I don't want other people talking. Other people talking. Sweet. So yeah, that was sort by. It's actually really simple. Not a lot to it. Yeah, it helps you just get some really interesting information. So here's a hands-on exercise. Looks like we're getting books by Jodi Taylor, who, if I remember correctly, is one of our most prolific writers.
She was on that list.
Yep. And then we're sorting by her score, the best book top. So hope for the best is the best. An argumentation of historians. Ooh, that sounds lovely. Second best. And then why is nothing ever simple? I really like these book titles. Live.
This is so interesting. Jodi Taylor is the author of the best-selling Chronicles of St. Mary series, the story of a bunch of disaster-prone historians who investigate historical events in contemporary time. Do not call it time travel.
Wow. That sounds like it'd be a BBC series, actually, if I'm being completely honest. It'd be very good.
Yeah.
So what else do we have here? We have, here's a compound search with the sorting.
Ooh.
So we have all books between 4.5 and 5 for score that are less than 350 pages. And we want to get the best scores first, and we're getting a title score on the page. So Hope for the Best, again, by Jodi is there.
Attack on Titan, Volume 12.
Wow. Okay. I totally forgot that Attack on Titan was actually included. So there's manga in here. Lord of the Rings was lower scored than Attack on Titan. Now, I'm not going to say anything negative. I really like Lord of the Rings. I really like Attack on Titan. I would probably say I would prefer Lord of the Rings over Attack on Titan, but hey, it's just me. Maybe I should go on Goodreads.
Yeah.
And give my opinion.
Hey, if you want your opinion to count for our data set, you got to go on Goodreads for it.
That's true. Get your vote out. So this one here, we're looking for books by Terry Pratchett, sorted by pages. Notice that we're not doing ASC or DESC,
Yeah.
so it's going to be default to ascending.
Cool.
And then we're going to get the title and pages. So this means that we're going to get the smallest books first. So I Shall Wear Midnight is the smallest one, and then Good Omens.
Good Omens.
Very nice. Equal Rights, Making Money.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Can we do a little bit of a search and see who the author of Good Omens is? Because isn't it Neil Gaiman and Terry Pratchett?
I believe so. So let's ft.search RU204 books. No. What is it? Index:book demo. So we're going to be looking for, I think, just title, right?
I think so, yeah.
Good Omen. And then return. Let's look up to the title and author. So that means that.
Well, question there.
Yeah.
Is that getting into, like, if there was a list of authors, would we still only be returning the first one?
That's a good question. So let's look at, I don't know how we actually handled, when reading in all this data, how we actually handled multiple authors. So let's look at author Neil. Let's do Terry first. Terry Pratchett. I'm looking for like any instance of Neil Gaiman in here or anything else. Nope. So this might not actually be in the database. Or let's look up. Yeah, there's only one Good Omens. Yeah. Huh.
So if you get rid of the return part and just hit it. Okay, so it just says, it just has Terry Pratchett.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
We might have actually removed it. I don't think that we removed it manually, but let me look real quick on my browser what this shows. It does show it on Goodreads as Terry Pratchett, Neil Gaiman.
Yeah.
So that might just be our own design, because that would have added like its own.
Oh yeah.
A little bit.
Absolutely. So, and most books only have one author. So.
Right. That's a good question, though. That actually asks the question, like, how would you approach that? You could treat programmatically. You can do like, you can create multiple authors. So author 1, author 2, author 3.
Yeah.
Or you could treat authors as an array of author objects, not quite tag, like array of string text, maybe. I don't know. So paginating. This is going to be the last topic. This is good because you want to actually, you don't, if you get 500 results, you're not going to blast your user with 500 results, and Redis isn't going to blast you with 500 results. We like to be fast and courteous. We're polite and zippy. So when you're searching with Redis, you get the first 10 results back. And if you want more, then you have to ask for it. It's limit. So basically, the option limit allows us to specify a start position and the result set to return results from, and how many results from that position to return. So all queries have a limit of 10, like I said, but if you want to change that, you have to enter the limit option with the offset and then how many you want to see. So for an example, we're looking at all books essentially, and then we're sorting by score descending. So we're looking at the top books first, and we're returning score and title, and then we're limiting 0 and 5. So we're going to look at from the 0th or the first book on the top of the list, down to 5. So score is Saga Book 2, The Way of Kings.
Which is a graphic novel, in case you were curious.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
I did a quick Google to just take a look at it. And yeah, it looks like a graphic novel. The Way of Kings, The Empty Grave, The Wandering Inn, and The More Than Complete Hitchhiker's Guide. So I'm glad to see that it's on there. And so we're only getting 5 instead of our standard 10. And if you really want to, I mean, it's normal to get like 20 results. So you do limit 0, 20. And there's a lot of websites where they actually will allow you to change the amount of results you get back. So you can get like 20, 50, 100 results back all in one go, and you can choose that. And that will trickle down to this query that will say, I want limit 0, 100 instead of limit 0, 20, something like that.
Okay.
And then once you click next, then you change this 0 limit. So let's play with this a little bit. So this on its own limits 0, 0. So you want to get you want to start at the beginning, and you want to get no results back. So you just get 45.
Okay.
So this is even smaller than actually doing no content, which gives you 45 plus all the keys. And so let's go back to this limit 0, 0. Let's do 5. Ooh, that's big. And then actually, let's do this. Let's do a combination of no content.
I was just about to ask, what happens if you do them both?
There we go. So this is actually this is really nice, because then you can manipulate the standard return of no content.
Yeah.
So here's our first 5. If you want the next 5, I would just add 5. And there we go. Those are the next 5. And after that, we'll do 10.
Okay.
And then, so this is the offset. So we're offsetting our returns, and we only have 45. So if you really wanted to get all 45, use 0, 45. 45 is the amount that you want. And here we go. You can see that we have all 45 books. So that's basically how it works. And it's not, it's not complex. Oh, Smokey, right?
Yes, the other cat.
Hello.
Who has all 4 of her legs.
I didn't even notice that Summit didn't have all 3. Oh.
He has 3.
All 3.
Yes.
Cool. So that was limiting, and here is just another example of running limit. Year published between 15. So all books published in 2015. We're sorting by score. So what were the best books, top 5 books of 2015? Golden Sun, What Could Possibly Go Wrong? Star Wars, Jedi Academy 3, The Phantom Bully. Interesting. What else do we have? We have the next 5. So this is looking up the next 5 books out of 86 total. So kind of what we just did. This might be a children's book. Ricky Ricotta's Mighty Robot versus the Nightcrawlers from Neptune. Wow. Oh,
I think the Star Wars one is also a children's book. The Jedi Academy it's like middle school Jedis.
I haven't gotten into the depth of like all of the books for Star Wars. Maybe I will. And that's a huge amount, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah.
So here we go. We know the
5 lowest scoring books.
Yeah, you always have to know like which ones are not the best.
That's right.
Oh, Waiting Shadows. No.
2.93. That was our what? Dystopian and
apocalyptic and dystopian.
And has shadows.
That's fun. You really, really can like search for your own books based off of just querying. Pretty cool. Like if a book is low quality, it can mean a lot of things. It can mean like people just weren't understanding it, or it just had too many tropes, or it was a little campy.
That's true.
So who knows? I've never read purposely a low scored book, so
I haven't either. But that might be the next Redis JSON book club.
That'd be so much fun to just go through that torture. Or we might actually like it. Who knows?
Yeah.
So yeah, that was the biggest part and the most important part of search in JSON. And it was a lot, but you know,
It was.
it's
a lot of very logical follow, you know.
Right. If you've had experience with SQL, a lot of things will be, you know, very recognizable.
Or even really like if you've used like the pandas data frames, like they do a lot of similar aggregations. So like it's like group by is a very easy to understand idea if you've used anything that like usually looks like a table.
Right.
And you've used a group by, like I think Excel has it group by.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So yeah, hopefully this actually you know, is easy to use and it's understandable. And after this, tomorrow we'll be playing with our Redis clients and Redis OM to actually set up indexes and play with that. That'll be a shorter one. And then on Friday, we'll do advanced topics where we're looking at some of the more like bleeding edge parts of search, which is pretty cool. And it also includes like utilities. I think I might have kind of spoiled that by talking about like info and list, but oh well.
It's a teaser, not a spoiler.
Exactly. So cool. That was fun, and we made it, and we still have our voices.
We did it.
And also, if you're watching at home, live or syndicated on YouTube, thank you for making it this far.
Thank you. Yeah.
A short one.
This one we might add timestamps to this one.
Yes. We'll have to have one titled Banter. Prattle. Tangent number 7. So yeah, if you're seeing this, make sure to check us out on YouTube. You'll see other sections of our U204 live syndicated, as well as explainers and our own live series each, and us collaborating on a couple different live streams as well. This course came from Redis University, so go to university.redis.com. All the content that I showed you that was in like a web page format, that's our course. So it's just casual, written word, written by Simon and I, and we invite you to take it. It's free and it's fun. And
if you do take that course and you have questions, you should join us on Discord at discord.gg/Redis. We've got channels for each of the different courses, as well as like language specific channels, sort of like concept specific channels. It's a great place to ask questions. The community helps answer a lot of those. So even if it's something that the developer advocates don't have experience with, you might find someone in the Redis community who has done what you're trying to do, and they'll be able to offer like their personal experience. It's a great place to hang out and learn some Redis things.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, you saw user Meflick on our on our stream. He's there, and he's an amazing wellspring of knowledge. He's great. And yeah, we have a very highly participatory community. A lot of people help each other out, like you said. And also a lot of actual Redis employees and Redis internal developers and engineers make it onto our Discord. So if you ask a question that's nuanced enough where we are like, I really don't know that, let me ask the person that wrote it, they'll pop up and say, oh, yeah. So this is this and this and this. So
yeah. Oh, no. Oh, did we lose Justin just at the tail end of this? Justin's internet only works for 2 hours at a time, apparently.
Oh, am I back?
Oh, you're back.
Okay. I know. I saw it back. I'm like, no, my 2 hour limit. All right. Well, before I get cut off, thank you very much for joining us. Tomorrow at 11:30 Pacific, that's 2:30
Eastern.
2:30 Eastern. Or check us out on YouTube to see this in syndication. Hello, Smokey. Thank you for joining us for RU204.
She's here just to say goodbye.
All righty. Well, goodbye, everybody.